social anxiety, basically, I was actually reading something today about it, and it relates to agoraphobia. So this COVID experience is really interesting in that people are getting increased social anxiety about going out into the world, meeting people, going into the shops. And agoraphobia, we normally think of it's just a fear of going out, but it's really linked to a fear of not being able to escape something. And so the anxiety comes in when we think we're going to go into a situation and we're going to be stuck and we can't deal with it. It's going to be unpleasant and we can't get out of it. So they said in the books and on the TV and the radio and the things I've been researching about this, this is what happens on airplanes. This is what happens on when people go into certain situations and they're just not comfortable with them. It's not their comfort zone. And then you've got a situation like COVID or even Parkinson's where you can't get out or do the things that you want to do. So your anxiety level goes up because you feel, well, if I do take a risk and go out there, something bad might happen. I might not be able to cope. It might feel really awful. Well, sometimes we don't think about that in advance, but we just go and try something and then we're there. And then that feeling hits us. So when I went to the doctors yesterday or the day before, whenever it was, I masked up, which I hate. I went into the waiting area and for whatever reason, they were delayed for a long time. And I waited for half an hour and I had been sitting there getting hotter, getting more stressed and claustrophobic, thinking, I need to get out of here. This is really uncomfortable and I can't get out because I've got to wait for the doctor. And so the anxiety built to the point where suddenly I got up and I ran over to the receptionist and said, I have to go. I can't do this.
Yeah.
And so I was full of anxiety. And that's what people are experiencing, really. And yeah, I'm just wondering, have you experienced that as well?
I went to the shops with Stephen and we was in the car and he said to me, right, you go in the shop. I just want to go across to Watson's to get some hardware stuff, you know, nails and whatever. I don't know really what he wanted, but something. And I had just an absolute panic attack. I thought, well, I've got to go in the shop on my own. And all these things just went flooding through me was, right, so I need to pay with the card. I need to deal with the shopping and put it in the bag. I need to deal with customers walking around. And then I just panicked. But I didn't want Stephen to know because I was thinking, I'm a grown woman. What am I panicking about going on into the shop on my own? So I went, and of course, the first thing is you've got a queue. I don't know whether you haven't been.
No, I haven't been. Yeah.
Well, you have to stand and queue before you can go in, and that doesn't help when you're stressing about you just want to go in, get out. I recognised that was anxiety. I just thought I was being daft, you know, and I think it's me recognising that I'm having this as it is an anxiety. It's probably an anxiety attack, I presume.
Completely.
I don't know whether I'm doing the right thing, but I keep pushing myself because I think what's happened over the last since March, I've not been going out and I've got used to not going out. I've got used to sending Stephen to do everything and I've got out of it and I'm almost afraid to go to the shops.
I completely understand that.
I've been pushing myself, but every time I can feel my heart racing. I'm now just talking about it, I can feel myself getting hot and what I'm stressing about.
Okay.
So,
I'd like to just jump in there, if I may, and just say a couple of things. First of all, we're in a really bizarre situation because we used to have anonymity. You'd go into a shop, you'd be hustling and bustling around amongst everybody else. You weren't visible. And suddenly, with all these gaps and distances between everybody, we're visible. So people can watch and see. And it's really uncomfortable. I mean, I haven't been in there, but I've seen that that's what's going on. And then it starts in the car park, because before you even get in the shop, you've got that process beginning outside. And then when you're in the shop, a lot of shops, you've got to get your stuff as you go around, because it's like a one-way system. And if you miss it, you can't go back.
Right system.
Yeah. So you've got a lot of extra pressure to be focusing on things, whereas before you could just browse and chat and do your own thing. So suddenly you're kind of funneled in, and you're steered where to go, and you've got to do it. And if you don't, there's a consequence, and you're visible to people. So your anxiety makes perfect sense, because it's a completely unnatural state. And what I love is that you've naturally started to do what we call exposure therapy, where you expose yourself to the thing that doesn't mean you take your clothes off, by the way. You expose yourself to that would be a way to deal with it.
Way of getting arrested.
you put yourself in that situation, probably a better way to say it. And you're by doing that, you're saying to yourself, okay, well, I'll do this again and again, and I'll become desensitized to this anxiety, which it does work over time. You've got to give yourself that sense that it's going to take a little time.
Yeah.
But the bit that's really important, and I think this is a good subject to be talking about, actually, because it gives me an opportunity to say something that I've presented before in the group. So anxiety is your friend, but it doesn't feel like it. Anxiety pops up and says, boo, I'm here. And I'm going to give you a really nasty feeling, because my job is to see, are we safe? Something has triggered anxiety to come out to say, boo, I'm here. Are we safe? So you're in a situation, you're not feeling safe, really. That's what it comes down to. And what happens is we get stuck on that horrible feeling. We start to think, oh my God, I hate this anxiety feeling. It's so horrible. And all our focus goes on to that. I don't want to feel anxiety. I don't want to be in this situation. Oh my God, this is terrible. And then we feel even more unsafe. And then we feel more unsafe. Anxiety says, oh, there really is a problem here. We might not be safe. I better do boo again. I'm going to do it even more this time, because we need to do something. We might need to flee or fight. So anxiety gets worse. And then we get stuck in that reaction to anxiety. And all anxiety is looking for, right back at the beginning there, is, am I safe?